So what's up, people, and welcome to another One Piece video. Yeah, Zoro versus Sanji. Sanji versus Zoro. Yeah, I know I'm opening up a can of worms with this subject. It's been debated to death, with no real, answer in sight. And probably opening up this video will create even more debate. However, just looking at the two characters, I did want to give my interpretation with regards to this. Not that it's right, but with regards to, once again, interpretation. And I wanted to look at it rather than from a who's better overall, just basically what are the unique characteristics of the two characters. Of course, these two, prior to Jinbei joining the crew, were the two strongest lieutenants under Luffy. And because of this, there has always been a tremendous amount of rivalry between the two, not only within the show, but also amongst the many fans who watched and followed the show. And of course, there has been an endless debate using measurables such as strength, skill, achievement in who they have beaten over the manga series, as well as, rank within the Mugiwara pirate crew, what role they play. But today, I just wanted to look at it in terms of fighting style and see how each of them has a unique capability. So we know that Zoro is a swordsman, one of the best in the comic, especially around now when we're in the Wano arc. And Sanji, of course, is a master kicker. Yeah, he is tremendously strong with his legs. And so if you compare the two, it's like comparing apples with oranges, because the advantages that these two characters have is in a different category. Sanji's weapon are his legs, and because of that, he is battle ready no matter where you are and what situation you're in. I mean, he could be in a pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and he still will be able to take on the likes of Virgo or even Don Flamingo. Yes, I know a lot of people will say Sanji lost relatively easily, maybe, to Don Flamingo, but that was mostly due to Don Flamingo's devil fruit powers. If you would remove that devil fruit power from Don Flamingo, I think the fight would have been a lot closer. And because Sanji doesn't have to rely on any weapon, his fighting style becomes more versatile. It's available whenever, wherever he is. And if you were to take Zoro's swords away from him and then put the two together, my argument would be Sanji would win under that situation. Yes, Zoro is a very strong hand-to-hand combat artist. However, because he spends a lot of time practicing with his sword, if you were to pit the two together weaponless, then my opinion is that Sanji would win. However, give Zoro his swords, and that man becomes a complete monster. Yes, he can basically slice up whole mountains with his sword style. And given his swords, and then pitting Sanji, his Sanji's leg fighting style against Zoro's sword fighting style, I would have to say that Zoro will probably come out on top. So it's a very unique fighting skill that both of them have, and which is better, it's a little bit hard to say. I mean, Sanji's is more practical because of the fact that he doesn't have to rely on any weapons. If he loses anything, it doesn't matter. He still capable of fighting, whereas Zoro a lot of times does lose his swords. It gets taken away from him, and then he has to rely on his hand-to-hand skills. Luckily, somewhere along the way, he gets his swords back, and then he becomes the monster that he is. So yeah, like I say, comparing apples with oranges. So now, if you give Sanji his most recent weapon, which is his raid suit, then you have a fighter with a weapon versus a fighter with a weapon. And under those circumstances, which would win? To be honest, I have no idea. I don't think Sanji's stealth capabilities will be, really advantage compared to Zoro because of Zoro's Kenbun Shoku no Haki or observation haki. On the other hand, Sanji also gets physical power-ups with the raid suit. It's basically a Power Ranger suit on a person who's already a monster fighter. And under that situation, to be honest, I really don't know, because although Sanji will get a tremendous power-up, Zoro with his 3 swords, yeah, that guy is an absolute beast. And so that will be an interesting fight to see, although I doubt that they'll ever fight each other, aside from whenever it's a comedy incident, in which case it doesn't really matter, because the strongest fighter under that situation is always Nami. Now, as far as sheer killing intent, yeah, Zoro, hands down. Nobody else, not even Luffy, comes close. Yeah, I mean, Sanji has way too much compassion if you compare it to Zoro. And luckily, Zoro has started showing a lot more compassion ever since he's joined the Straw Hat Pirate crew. And that has prevented him from becoming, other completely cold-hearted warriors such as Akainu or Rob Lucci, But as far as sheer frightening killing intent, nobody in the Mugiwara crew, even now, with Jinbei, comes up to Zoro, in my opinion. Anyway, that is my opinion. So it could be right, it could be wrong, I don't know. I mean, the only person who really knows is God. And I'm not talking about Usopp, I'm talking about Oda. So probably, unless he gives a really clear answer of who is actually stronger based upon the various situations, I'm just going to stick with my interpretation. Anyway, yeah, what do you think? Well, how do you feel they would fare if Zoro and Sanji were completely unarmed? And then how would they fare if they're on their usual situation? Sanji just using his legs and Zoro using his swords. And then, of course, how would they fare if Sanji were to start using his new raid suit? Yeah, if you have any comments, please post them in the comment section below. And since this is a very touchy subject, if you can keep it civil, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so that's it for this video. And hopefully I'll make some more One Piece videos in the future. At that time, I hope you join us. And until then, happy adventuring, happy treasure hunting, happy comic reading, happy anime watching, and as always, Jaya, nice day, everyone.